Roman Bridger, the man who started it all. And yet he seems to not get enough credit. I believe his intelligence is utilized in a very strategic way. He is viewed as whiny and very selfish. And he is. He has a chip on his shoulder and a thorn in his side. He wanted what Sydney had. As simple as just having a family who wanted him. He was envious, and it grew dark in him, causing him to devise a plan to seek revenge on a sister who never even knew he existed until the showdown in the third act of Scream 3. So saying all of that, how could we tie in Scream 6 to Scream 3? Well, it's simple really, but a bit of a stretch, knowing that radio silence might not be as ballsy to play it out this way. Still want to hear the Roman theory? I'm quite sure of it, that you do. So let's paint a picture that goes dark rather quickly. So Maureen was screwed over by Hollywood, stealing her innocence and leaving her jaded. She went to parties that she believed would get her closer to stardom, not realizing what it would take to get her to said stardom. But one night it gets out of hand. She met men who promised her the world, only to deceive and defile her. One of those men just so happened to be John Milton, blaming it on it being the 70s, but really he believed power can get you whatever you want, no matter who gets hurt in the process. Maureen was in the crossfire, and it resulted in an unwanted pregnancy. Maureen did not believe in getting rid of the child, so she went ahead with the 9 months. It was the hardest 9 months that she endured, but she gave birth, and as soon as she did, she gave the child up. She moved on, and she moved to Woodsboro, where she met Neil Prescott. The child grew up in what I can imagine to be orphanages. He acted out of anger, felt out of place, misunderstood. No one wanted a problem child, so he was stuck in childcare limbo. When he was old enough, he became curious about where he came from. He managed to sneak into the files at the orphanage and found the name of his mother staring back at him. In utter disbelief, there was an address and everything. So Roman ran away from the orphanage at 17. He learned enough skills to live on his own. He worked odd jobs while still going to school. His intelligence allowed him to graduate early and also obtain a scholarship in the arts of film. His creative eye seemed to be the only thing he valued, and also finding his mother. He then tracked her down, with the name given to him, but not knowing the outcome. His heart was broken when she saw him shutting the door in his face, telling him that Rena Reynolds was dead. Roman felt enraged by the neglect and rejection. He buried his head in his work, dedicated to becoming a film director. But working with a heavy heart that held such hatred, he had to act on it to release that fire. So he decided to keep a close eye on the mother who didn't want him. He studied those around her, those he could perhaps manipulate to assist in his devious plan. He began to paint a picture of Rena, who was now going by Maureen Prescott, as he captured her life in the lens of his camera. He noticed her infidelities with Cotton Weary and also a side affair with Hank Loomis. He felt like Hank was the key, so he watched him as well. He noticed Billy, Hank's son, and then noticed Sydney, coming to the realization that Sydney was his blood. Instead of wanting to get close to her and know her, he wanted to destroy her. He wanted what she had, so it only drove him to further the plan. He approached Billy and told him about the secret affair between Hank and Maureen. With Billy's own mother leaving him behind, he blamed Maureen for his own misfortunes, as did Roman. They knew they couldn't do this all alone, so Billy recruited his best friend Stu. Stu was along for the ride, no questions asked. They saw Cotton as a scapegoat, an easy way out for them to get away with it. And the plan succeeded. Cotton was framed and sent to jail. Roman was still in the shadows. Billy and Stu had too much fun killing together, so they decided to continue. Roman goes his merry way, proud of the chaos he ensued on Woodsboro. He moves to Hollywood so that he can further his film career. Roman works with other directors to get his foot in the door, and that's when he meets John Milton. Wanting to know who he's working with, he does an in-depth research on Milton, learning that he and Rena have crossed paths. Intrigued by the connection, Roman digs deeper, finding out, I don't know if you're ready for this, Milton is Roman's father. Learning this resurfaces the rage inside of Roman. Years have passed since the demise of Maureen, but the vengeance still felt fresh for Roman. Disgusted by Milton, he chooses to stay close to him, plotting something sinister for his fate. So we know what happens to Milton. Roman slits his throat, turning it into a plot to frame Sydney for the murder when in actuality he wanted to kill his poor excuse for a father. So Roman had access to Milton's mansion, correct? Roman ventures further into the mansion, and there he finds a certain room that will look familiar to us in Now Scream 6. Now we know that Roman did not do all of the killing on his own. correct? Unless if he truly was superhuman, like Randy implied in the video when he talks about the trilogy rules. Angelina has been talked about for a long time, that she was involved somehow. I do believe that she was involved. However, she was not as involved as we may assume. I believe she was just a pawn that was used to get Sydney where Roman wanted her. He needed someone trusting to manipulate Sydney, playing on the human side of it, knowing Roman could not do it himself. He wanted a grand entrance. He wanted to wait close to the end to reveal himself. But who else was helping him? That's the golden question. Well, I believe whoever is wearing the cracked mask is the one who helped Roman. This person got away unnoticed for so long, and now this person wishes to make their own entrance. How about a disgruntled bodyguard? He was Jennifer Jolie's bodyguard, but for a short time. This person was young and naive, believing that he was falling for a Hollywood starlet, but it was far from it. Jennifer was also seeing Roman, but very loosely. This person was angry that Jennifer moved on and was fired due to his obsessive tendencies. Thinking he could get even with Roman, Roman was able to manipulate this person, teaming up to both get even with Jennifer. This person befriends Roman, and I say befriends very loosely because Roman manipulates everyone around him to get what he wants. So are you ready for me to reveal who this person is? Who helped Roman? Who stalked from the shadows? Who assisted Roman to play out his revenge plot? Danny. Yes, I said it. Danny. Danny was a disgruntled bodyguard who killed Stone and also killed Jennifer. Angelina could not stand Jennifer, so she was instantly on board with helping out Roman and Danny. Angelina was the in-between player who obtained the info and also moved the characters where Roman wanted them in order to cut them out of the picture. Roman hated directing the movie Stab 3. He had no issue killing off the actors, and he did. When Sydney and Roman were finally face to face, Roman believed he could get away with it by framing Sydney, but his plan went awry. He underestimated Sydney, which led to his own demise. Danny knew about something that no one else knew. Roman left instructions to Danny in the event that his plan did not in fact go accordingly. He revealed to Danny a valuable secret room that Milton had in his mansion. Milton was far more twisted than we had already seen. After learning of Maureen's death, Milton dipped his hands in a dark desire to exploit her death by making money off of the tragedy. Milton started the Stab film extravaganza, and with every film made, he collected props from each film. He had an obsession that turned into a shrine. Danny was instructed to move these items to a safer place to use in the future. So he did, and he also added to it after Milton was murdered by Roman. Milton's obsession became Danny's obsession, falling into the Stab rabbit hole and then wanting to go further. He kept a close eye as the newer Woodsboro story unfolded. Sam's face in the news revealing that she is Billy's daughter. Danny had to get closer to Sam. Danny admired Billy and saw Sam as a trophy, an ultimate trophy. So he rents the house next door to Sam. He studies her from afar at first, and then he has to act when Gail somehow finds the shrine. He takes Billy's mask, worn and cracked, decides to scare Gail with a phone call, but then he enjoys it too much when he kills her bodyguard. He knows he can't do it alone, so he reaches out. He tries to embody Roman and manipulates a couple of people to be his pawns. And what is his actual motive? He wanted to go after Sydney to finish what Roman started. But then he gets distracted by Sam. He wants her to himself, thinking that if she is all alone, she will go to the dark side with him. He sees there is a specific group that surrounds her, and he knows he must eliminate them in order for her to join him. Wow. So that's it. That's my theory. My Roman theory. It is quite a stretch, I know, but it would help tie it all together. So what do you think? Does it intrigue you? Let me know in the comments down below. This is Carey Craves Cinema. Stay geeky for movies, my friends.